All right, we're gonna start recording.
All right, sounds great.
All right. Hey, thanks again for taking your time to be on here.
No, man, thank you for the invite. That's really what I'm thankful for.
All right. If you don't mind, do you think you could like tell people just a brief 2 minutes about your story and about how, your struggles with mental health and just how you overcame them?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, no, take your time. I could restart the recording as well.
Okay. So just a quick story about how everything kind of unfolded for me, or where should I
Yeah,
start?
just your story, going to Brazil and that sort of thing.
So I'm allowed to talk about God as well?
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want.
Okay. So for me, I I grew up in Canada. I was born in the Philippines, and then I just moved here when I was 4, and then played football or soccer throughout the years. And it was at a young age where I realized, okay, I really like this sport. I think playing professionally is something that I've always wanted to do, or something that I want to do, and something that I've been wanting to do my whole entire life, essentially. And going professional was obviously something that was really tough, or something that I didn't know how to do. So when I was at the age around 18, 19, my only thought about going pro was to go to school in the States. And when COVID happened, that possibility wasn't there. Neither did I have as many offers either, but I stayed home for the year and played in my university in Canada, which wasn't a bad option. But after a year here playing and going to school, I kind of came to this realization that I kind of want to really try to put all my eggs in one basket right now and try to play professionally in football. And I think I have to look elsewhere. So at 19, I dropped out of university, had a hard talk with my parents, and I went to Uruguay, stayed there for around 2 years. And then when things weren't working out over there, I went over to Brazil. And that's kind of where a huge mentality shift kind of came into my life. I mean, when I was in Uruguay, it was also a really big culture shift, but I was with friends and my brother, and I was with people from Canada. So it was a lot easier for me to kind of cope with everything because people were in a similar boat. But when I went to Brazil, it was super out of my comfort zone, really, really out of my comfort zone. And I remember arriving at the airport, not knowing how to get to the stadium, and it was around an hour and a half to 2 hours away, and talking to some random guy to drive me over there who doesn't speak any English or Spanish at because that's the only language I spoke as well. And then arriving in Brazil, and I remember staying in Brazil, living in this dorm underneath this or in this stadium with around 4 or 5 kids in each room, not speaking English or Spanish or anything. So I wasn't understanding a word they said. Completely different environment. I was super overwhelmed. And I remember the next day going up into the stadium, looking down at the football pitch, and just thinking, wow, is this what I really want to do? I mean, I'm sacrificing so much to play this game. And I'm just looking at the pitch in front of me and thinking, is this all really worth it? And that was kind of the most down I've ever felt. I remember crying at the top of the stadium, really having all this doubt and worries and anxiousness. And I remember calling my parents, sobbing to them. I had a girlfriend at the time too, and talking to her as well. And I had these people who supported me, but at the same time, I felt so lonely. So it was a really tough period for me where I just felt really alone. And at that time, I looked to the sky literally and said, "Okay, God, if you're really there, please, I'm really turning to you. My mental health is at an all-time low, and I really need you. I feel so alone." And that was the biggest thing. I felt lonely. I was scared. And I always somewhat believed in God before, but wasn't really entirely fully into the faith, and I wasn't exactly that serious. But it wasn't until that moment where I hit rock bottom and my mental was really struggling, was when I really turned to him. So after that, things really started to open up. Obviously, there was a lot of difficulties that I had to face, but this time I knew that I could do it because I had God with me. And mental health, it doesn't mean that you're always going to be at an all-time high, but it just matters about how you deal with certain things and not letting it keep you down. So I think for me, when I was in Brazil, it was something that kept me down. But going forward, it doesn't mean that I didn't face any more struggles, but it just, I dealt with them a lot better. So that's a little bit about my story with mental health, and it just goes up and down from there. But I think that just how you react to it is something that's most
Yeah,
important.
100%. And thanks again for sharing that. How do you think you navigated all of those setbacks and difficult parts? What were some strategies that you used?
So some strategies that I use is not to compare myself to others. I mean, a lot of the time when you're trying to make it in the pro game, you are trying to try out for a certain position and then you try to compare yourself to that player who's in that position. And even it could be something even greater than that. Maybe you compare yourself to people that are your age across the world.
Hmm.
Maybe they're playing football at a high level and you're still trying to make a name for yourself. Or even it could be your friend who's back home in the States or in Canada or wherever you're from, working a job or in school and having a good time with his friends. And you see them on social media and you think, wow, that could be me. I could be getting my degree or working a good job or having a good time with my friends. But here I am in this country alone, struggling. And I think that's the biggest thing is comparison. Comparison is a big thing, but a strategy, something I told myself is to understand that everyone's journey is different and everyone's journey is supposed to teach you something. And not everyone's trying to make it into this pro game. It's very hard in any type of, if you're trying to be a professional in any type of field, it's difficult. So the road is often less traveled. And big thing strategy is your how you talk to yourself. And honestly, a lot of people are in their own heads most of the time, so watch how you speak to yourself because that's the biggest energy giver to yourself. And how you act in daily life is how you're talking to yourself. Are you your own bully? Are you your biggest supporter? Are you your biggest motivator? Whatever it may
Yeah.
be positive with how you speak with yourself. And another habit is just having good habits. So, I mean, if you're in a rut, but you're sleeping 3 hours a night, you're on your phone 20 hours in the day, you're not eating right, then
Yeah.
of course you're gonna feel in that rut. But if you go to bed every single day knowing, okay, I'm doing the best I can with what I have, taking care of myself, and being as nice as I can to others, loving others, and of course that's gonna help you get out of that mental rut.
So just taking care of yourself, self-care is super important. In terms of social comparison, like you were saying earlier,
Mhm.
are there any specific strategies that you use to stop comparing yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, maybe reducing phone usage, so reducing social media time. And another thing is coming to the understanding about, look, God created me this way, and I'm doing the best I can. And I think that's the best part of the story. I mean, a lot of these things, everyone has different type of issues that they're dealing with. Maybe you compare yourself to an athlete who's very successful in the field, but you don't know what he's dealing with behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And there's always that saying is if everyone got their problems and threw it in a pile and seen everyone else's problems, you'd go on and grab your own and run away with it.
Yeah.
So I think social media is honestly can tell the biggest lies, and that's why it's poison. I mean,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, that's what I would say.
If you could tell one struggling athlete one thing about social comparison, what would it be?
It's not what it seems. I mean, it's not what it seems, and to just trust in your own journey. I mean, if everyone's going through it on their own path, and sometimes it's not about the end goal, and it's about what you're being taught along the way. A lot of the times I think about, oh wow, I'm comparing myself to people back home in Canada, going to university, going to these parties, having fun with friends, making good money from their jobs, whatever it may be. But then it's okay, if I went through that, then imagine how different of a person I'd be. And I asked myself, Aaron, you would you want to be a different person? Would your morals want to change? Maybe you would be a meaner person. Maybe you would. I'm not saying that people who
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. Just
wouldn't know.
be yourself. Be yourself.
Exactly. So your experiences teach you who you are, and I don't want to lose any of that wisdom or experience that I've learned in these struggles and this path I chose.
Let's say someone's struggling to talk to themselves in a positive way and they have a bunch of negative self-talk. What would you tell them to, remind them like what mindset shift do you have to speak more positively about yourself?
I think a big mind shift that you should have is to be proud of yourself. A lot of people think that they have to attain or reach a certain goal or get to this certain objective before they can say, okay, I'm proud of myself. But no, I mean, if you get up and you try something, you fail, you try it again, you fail. No, be proud that you're have that courage to stand up again and again. But people don't see that as courage. They don't see that as something to be proud about. People only want to see the millions of dollars, the fame, the notoriety, and making it. But that's not what the whole thing is. So I would say the biggest shift is to be easy on yourself, be proud of yourself. Always, of course, try your best, but to be proud of yourself 100%.
Hmm. Um, in many ways, perfectionism is seen as such a positive attribute. Like, oh, if you're a perfectionist, you're so hardworking. But there comes a point where it becomes sort of unhealthy and you set unrealistic standards. Could you tell me about some ways that perfectionism could be dangerous or negative?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, man. And honestly, perfectionism, it's it's impossible. It's impossible. Even if you look at the best athletes in the world, you see them making mistakes all the time, whether it's on the court or on the pitch or off of it. And perfectionism can, I think it can really stop your growth. It really can. It can do the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. You're trying too hard, you're putting your too much mental stress on this one thing because you just can't get it to the way you want it, but that's just gonna slow your growth.
Mm.
And that's a good question, man. That's actually makes me think a bit about why perfectionism could be a bad thing, but I would say it ties back again as to not allowing yourself to be proud of what you're doing, of what you are, and yeah, that's what I would say.
How do you learn how to be proud of the little things, even if you don't feel like you're being perfect or good enough?
I would say be proud about the little progress that you're making. So little things they amount to bigger things in the future. So small details really make the biggest changes. Small, consistent actions create something great over time. It's a very overused pattern that we see nowadays that people often overlook. And that's the thing about, for example, in football, right? If you're going to shoot the ball, but then you keep skying it, maybe one little tweak makes that biggest difference, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I would honestly say is that people who have a hard time, sorry, your question was how to be.
How to be proud of yourself for the
Yeah,
little things?
exactly. So I think you should be celebrating every small goal, every small little progress that you make. If you think about it, I have this tattoo on my arm. That means
Yeah.
Kaizen, which means 1% better every day. So if you're getting 1% better every day, it may sound small, but after 100 days, you're 100% better than you were before.
Yeah.
That that makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, it does. Um, how do you learn how to separate your self-worth from, being like setting those high expectations? I think a lot of times for athletes, they set such a high expectation for themselves. They care so much about it. And then when they don't reach it, when they get close, but they don't play perfectly, then they feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, I think if that happens, it's just a part of the plot, man. I mean, for me, there was a lot of times where I thought, okay, if I just play good here,
Mm,
imagine the opportunities that can unfold on the other side. But then again, it doesn't work out that way. I'm brought along into a different route,
mm,
and then I realized that the different route that I was brought on is actually the better one for myself.
yeah.
And I would tell athletes, if you think you're just there, you didn't quite make it, maybe it's a way of God telling you that you're not yet ready for that
Mm,
for any reason. Maybe you do play your best. Maybe if you could be in control of the world and you could say, okay, I'm gonna play the best this game, so this team is gonna take me. So
mm,
then you do that. Maybe you make that team and then you get injured the first game.
yeah.
So it's something where everything happens for a reason. And uh, all I say is to just do your best. If it doesn't work out, then obviously there's a different path meant for you.
Yeah. How do you learn how to separate your self-worth from your performance?
That's the biggest thing that was hard for me to deal with, especially when I was younger.
Hmm.
I would put my whole identity on football. And you hear this a lot with people who actually stop playing football and pursue something else, is that that transition of stopping themselves from playing and chasing something else was hard for them because it was a huge identity shift. Some people would wake up and train every day, but then when they realize I don't have to do this anymore, they lose a part of themselves.
Hmm.
And it's a very difficult process. But how I would say to separate that is football is not everything. Simple, point blank. Well, not even just football, sorry, just a sport, whatever you're doing. It's not everything. Hockey, basketball, or I don't know if you want to be a astronaut. It's not everything, right? Of course, it's a big part of our lives, but it's such a small it's a small thing that we get to experience in our lives, and you get to understand that it's not everything. You see these footballers even or these athletes, they want to spend time with their family. Some of them want to live a normal life.
Hmm.
So in order to separate yourself from that is just you're not who you are when you play. I mean,
You're more than just your sport.
yes, exactly. Way more than just your sport.
Right.
I mean, I know some guys really quickly about who would treat other players differently off the pitch because they weren't as good on the pitch, right?
Mhm.
And then the players who are really good on the pitch, they would be nice to them.
Yeah.
So that's something that tells a lot about your character, but
Hmm.
it doesn't mean anything. You as a footballer does not mean that you are a nice person or a bad person. I
Hmm.
mean, those are completely separate things.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Obviously, identity foreclosure, like you were saying, it's a really difficult thing to recover from, and it's just a really difficult situation in general. Let's say an athlete is close to, experiencing identity foreclosure. They're training all the time, and suddenly their identity feels like it's wrapped in football or another sport. What would you tell them to maybe prevent that from happening?
As in, if they're trying to leave the sport and it's hard for them to.
If they're really obsessed with their sport and it becomes unhealthy, what would you tell them before the breaking point? Like before they start unhealthy habits?
I see. Yeah, I would tell them, look, I see that you're obsessed with the sport. You want to be the best, but how are you? I mean, how are you really? A lot of athletes lose themselves in this mindset of wanting to be the best and forget about their own mental health, forget about how they're taking care of themselves, and it destroys them. So I think there's a deeper meaning. I would ask them, what's the reason why you want to do this? I mean, sometimes there's an underlying purpose. They want some type of materialistic value from from this obsession. They're obsessed because they want to achieve something, they want to prove something. But if
Hmm.
you take a step back, then what is it that you really want? And sometimes identifying your why or your purpose or your reason as to why you're doing something really puts everything to a pedestal and makes you realize, okay, I have to calm down. But yeah, I would say uh yeah, you just it's a good question, Usman. You write this down or you just think about it on
Yeah, 50-50.
50/50? Okay. You're really dissecting my brain right now, but yeah, I would just say to take a step back. I mean, there's a lot more things more important. You have your family and other relationships you could build. And if you get too lost in football, you'll end up maybe when you wake up and realize I'm too into this or I'm too into my sport, you look around and you've already destroyed or hurt a lot of relationships around you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so in society, there's, a perception that people, but especially men, can't get help. And, they can't cry, they can't reach out to other people. What would you tell a man who thinks, like male athlete who thinks asking for help is a sign of weakness?
I think as a male athlete, I think it shows true strength when you can allow yourself to be vulnerable. And a lot of people have this misconception that men have to be strong, they can't cry, they can't do this, they can't do that. But at the end of the day, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, you're still human. You're still human. You're still allowed to experience these emotions.
Hmm.
And obviously, you don't want to be crying every day, and it's you don't want to enter that depression. It's very tough to get out of that because once you're in there, it is really difficult to get out. But I would say that everybody needs help. I mean, no matter how well put together someone looks, there's always something they're dealing with. And as a man, if you need help, get help. I mean, I always think that everybody should have therapy. Everybody should go to therapy and talk about their feelings, because a lot of the men, including myself, I like to bottle things up, and then it comes to a certain point where it just explodes.
Yeah.
And I'd rather talk about something, be vulnerable, maybe shed a tear or two, and be honest with myself, rather than having it bottle up and having everything within, I don't know, within my the radius around me get destroyed as well. That could be literally or metaphorically. So it's
Yeah.
just really important that you are honest about your feelings. And being emotionally intelligent does not mean hiding everything from everyone.
Yeah. Going into the, point you made about depression, what advice could you give someone, maybe an athlete or just anybody who's experiencing depression right now?
I remember I seen this quote before about depression, and it means a lot of suppression. So you're suppressing your feelings, your thoughts. You're not talking to as many people. You get into your head a lot. But what's the opposite of suppression is expression. So
Mhm.
I would say if you're in this rut, it's a lot harder to say than to actually do, but express yourself. Do art, do creative things, keep yourself busy, play sports, talk to people, keep yourself busy. And I have a sibling who went through depression,
Mhm.
and I've seen it affect her in a very negative way, and seen her at her lowest, and now she's doing a lot better. I mean, and what has helped her with that is her talking to people, being vulnerable, explaining herself, not being locked up in her room the whole day,
Yeah.
expressing herself, being creative, whether it's in music or in sports. And that's what I would tell people who are struggling with depression, is to not lock yourselves in a hole. The world is not against you, and a lot of them think that way. But I would say to really seek out other people, and sometimes when you do that, you seek out yourself as well.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's really difficult for some people because, there's a lot of defense mechanisms in place, and they feel like if they talk to someone, they might, get hurt or something, or maybe they've experienced that in the past. So,
Yeah,
depression is really difficult, and I'm really appreciative that you're okay sharing that. I think it'll help other people out.
for
Sorry,
sure.
I'm trying to look through the
No,
questions
man, take
because
your time, take
I've
your
asked
time.
you a lot.
You're good, you're good.
Um, have you experienced burnout before?
Yes, I have. I mean, let me try to think of a time where
Yeah,
maybe even when I was in the Philippines recently, I was in a pretty toxic environment in terms of my team, and I was tired from the season. I trained a lot. My body felt sore. My mentally, I just felt down.
yeah,
A lot of things I was dealing with, and that's when I experienced burnout for sure. Even when I was in, I don't know, I would say that's the biggest
yeah.
time was recently.
So a lot of people maybe think that, you can't get burnt out if you're successful, but you're playing professional soccer and you're still burnt out, right? Um, what would you tell a young athlete who's maybe feeling like guilty for taking a break, even though it's clear that they are burnt out?
I would say that it's good that you're feeling this way, that you want to put in that work, that you want to improve. But as an athlete, rest is just as important as how hard you're training. And a lot of people think, oh, trust me, I feel it too. When I go lay down in bed on a
Mhm.
Sunday and call it my rest day, I have the voice in my head saying, there are people out there outworking you. They're doing class,
Yeah,
whatever. I think, oh man, should I get up and do something? But no, rest is a big part of your improvement. And if you're training all the time, if you're overtraining, then that's gonna do the opposite of help you grow. It's gonna make you worse. I've felt it before where I'd be doing too much trainings and I'd show up to games and trainings with my team and play worse.
yeah,
So rest is a big part. This is what I always say to people: the amount and the effort that you put into train, put the same amount and effort into resting.
mhm,
So work on your recovery. Take that day off. Take a two days off. Maybe sleep 8 hours a night.
mhm,
That's what I'd say, is that it's part of the routine.
yeah,
Nobody is God. and
Yeah.
even God rested after He made the world,
Seven.
right? So
Yeah.
you guys
What?
have to rest.
Yeah, yeah. What would you shit, I had a question and I forgot it. It was about burnout. Okay, never mind. It's okay.
You're good.
My fault. I'm new to interviewing. This is a new thing for me.
No, you're good. You got something. You got a talent for it, man. I'm
I
telling you.
don't know. Why do you think people play worse after overtraining?
Because I think that first of all, their body's tired, mentally they're tired, and a big thing for me is that I stopped enjoying it. So I felt like a chore every time I would force myself to get up and train extra and do this and that, go to the gym, work out, push harder weights. I would arrive to when it actually matters, and I'd feel, oh man, I'm too tired. This feels like a chore. I'm not having fun. This isn't good. Versus when you're a kid, you play because you have fun, whatever it is, and you enjoy it genuinely. But sometimes overtraining can put something else in your mind where there's something I have to do,
Yeah.
and you forget the enjoyment.
Why is it important to have enjoyment to play well?
I mean, if you're playing with, if you're not enjoying something that you're doing, then obviously you can't perform at your best, right? So
Yeah.
enjoyment is a way to freely express yourself. I think of a sport as an art. You know, you got to express yourself and be creative, and you can't do that if you're not enjoying what you do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we all kind of taken up sports when we were younger or when we were kids, however old we were, but we all started it for a reason, and that is it's fun. It's very fun.
Yeah.
So if you lose that, then you lose how you play.
Have you ever experienced performance anxiety?
Oh my gosh, every all the time. There's a lot of times where I
Yeah.
have a lot of imposter syndrome and thinking that I'm not cut out to be here, or maybe I don't deserve to be here. Are they sure about me being in this position in the starting 11 or
Mhm.
whatever it may be? And I would be nervous before games. But yeah, I have definitely
What
experienced.
what's a piece of advice you would give yourself or that you have to remind yourself of to not have performance anxiety or to not be nervous or be less nervous?
I'll just say, Aaron, you're here for a reason. I mean, you put in a lot of work, you prepared
Mhm.
yourself, you've gone a long way, you've been through so many trials and tribulations, and you're here for a reason. So have fun. If you play bad, you play bad. If you play good, you play good. I mean, the next day people forget. It's a new day. It's not that serious.
Yeah, it's not that serious. I think that's one thing, I struggled with is like it felt a lot more serious to me than, it actually was. But, at the end of the day, we're kicking a ball around. Like we're grown men and we're just kicking a ball around, right? So, yeah. Um, what about confidence loss? Can you tell me about a time where maybe you've experienced confidence loss in soccer?
Yeah, I mean, in my confidence, I would lose it when the coach would choose someone else to start over me, or when I have players on my team yelling at me or cussing me at me, I would experience some type of confidence loss. And yeah, those are definitely times where I'd feel it, even when I negative self talk myself as
Yeah.
well. I'd feel it the most.
Um, you know what? I'm sorry. Can I get a charger really quick?
Yeah, yeah, do your
My
thing.
computer's about to die.
Okay, yeah, don't worry, don't worry.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Bro, I just checked the score. England are winning 4-0.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, dude, what the heck?
Oh, I forgot they were even playing.
Dude, it's only halftime too. Like what?
France is shambolic right now.
Yeah, dude, that oh my God. That's insane. And they're playing their starters too, or like mostly. Like it's not
Yeah.
even like they're playing. Wow.
Damn, Oz, I see you looking fresh in this, man.
Thanks, man.
You guys dripped out. That was today.
Yeah, it was like they took it a few days ago.
Mm.
I think like with soccer, I'm like I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty done with it at this point. But I think it's healthy for me.
And that makes me so happy to hear. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever you're doing, man, I mean, I see that you're pursuing something with a passion. That's just
Yeah.
what's the most important thing.
No, that's the thing too. It's like I'm actually really passionate about this project. Like,
It's good.
I feel like I'm sharing stories and it's like if more people like, I'm lucky that I had you when, I was really burnt out and I was struggling because I could talk to you, but a lot of people don't have like someone who's successful in their sport, like that they could talk to, right? And,
Hmm.
just having someone tell you some things that you need to hear, just like, yeah, I went through the same struggles as you. That could be just so powerful in giving someone, a little bit extra motivation, a little bit of giving someone permission to, take time off and, to be okay with themselves even when they're not performing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. And don't worry, I really like how you're talking, man. I see that you've grown so much over the years, so just
Yeah.
keep it up.
Dude, honestly, that's like the main questions I had for you.
Mm.
I want to make sure it's the highest like quality. I could ask you some like dumb questions, but I don't want to like waste your time as well. But um,
No,
dude,
you're good, man. Ask me whatever.
dude, this is gonna look sick. Like I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna have my editor look it over and like
Hmm.
make it look good. Do you think you could say some affirmative statements, sort of? Just to like we'll just put it in the video where just say stuff like it's okay to reach out to others if you need help and just sort of expand on ideas like that. Like you're more than just an athlete. Do you think you could say those two and like expand on both
Yeah,
of them?
for sure. So which one? Sorry.
It's okay to reach out if you need help.
Okay, and just expand on it.
Yeah, just expand on it.
All right. Uh, for whoever's watching this, it's okay to reach out if you need help, and it doesn't make you more brave just keeping it to yourself. It doesn't make you more manly or strong keeping it to yourself. And honestly, it takes a lot more effort to actually step out of your own shell and really dig deep and dissect of the feelings that you're and the thoughts that you have, and bringing that down to another person. I think really picking yourself piece by piece is something that people are uncomfortable with doing. And if you think keeping it to yourself is brave, then picking yourself piece by piece is a lot more difficult. So think about the courage that you would have if you really reach out and ask for help, and your mind, your body, your heart will thank you afterwards. And it's something that's really important that you should be doing, because you don't want it to explode, and you don't want to bottle it up and hurt someone else if you can't really hold it all in. So if you're feeling something, reach out.
That was great. Um, could you expand on the idea that you're more than just an athlete?
Yeah. Uh, you're. So I just say it right, and then I just
Yeah,
go on.
yeah, just expand.
Okay. Yeah, whoever's watching this, you're more than just an athlete. I mean, for me, I've been trying to chase professional football for years and years and years, and have the dream of playing at the highest level ever since I was a kid, and it was the only thing on my mind. It was tunnel vision that I tried to reach, and I got to a certain point where I'm playing professionally now. Thank God, I'm grateful for it. But even reaching this level, it made me realize that football is not everything, and you're more than just an athlete, as I was saying before. And no matter who you are as an athlete, maybe you have a certain goal you want to achieve, but I promise you guys, if once you reach that goal, there's going to be some other goal that you want to achieve. So you will never ever be fulfilled. And you you can't find fulfillment in sports if you're just constantly reaching for something higher.
Mhm.
There's always a bigger fish in the sea, bigger fish to fry, and at the end of the day, there's people that love you, relationships that need caring, and it might sound crazy, but you need to kind of be nice to others and understand that it's just a small percentage of your whole life is the sport, and maybe you're only playing it for a couple of years, maybe you will work in the industry for the rest of your life, but you need to understand that there's a huge identity separation that needs to happen between you and your sport, because you have a lot more to offer than just kicking a ball or skating on an ice rink or shooting a ball into a net or running track, whatever it may be. You have a lot more to offer than those things.
Okay, last one. You're stronger than your setbacks. What does that mean to you?
You're stronger than your setbacks. That's a great one. I mean, for me, you don't find out how strong you truly are until you are faced with setbacks. So if you get hit by a setback and you stay there, then you weren't able to overcome that. But if you're able to overcome your setbacks, that makes you a lot stronger than what pulled you down. And for example, how do you guys know how strong a house is, right? You don't find out how strong a house is by living in a nice, warm weather and no storm neighborhood. No, you find out how strong a building or a house is when you put that building or a house in the middle of a storm, in the middle of a flood, with rain, with snow, with hail. If that building is still standing, then that's how you know that this building is a strong building, regardless of all the storms and whatever was thrown in its way. So think about that as yourself, is that if you're still standing after all these things that have been thrown against you, that makes you 10 times stronger than your setbacks.
Okay. Dude, this is going to be so cool. I'm so excited about this. Thank you so much for your time. Here, the Zoom call is about to end, but can I call you on WhatsApp for like a few minutes?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.